Ivan.
Hey guys, what's going on? Jebb here, and welcome back to Coffee and Crypto Live. Guys, we go live 9:30 Eastern every single weekday to bring you the latest on Bitcoin and cryptocurrency markets. We look at the technical, on-chain, and fundamental analysis around the cryptocurrency markets. And in this video, we are going to be discussing why Bitcoin rallied yesterday. As you guys are probably aware, there is a very troubling thing going on in Ukraine right now. There's a very serious conflict going on over there, and as that was building, as that was heating up, there was quite a lot of uncertainty in traditional markets and as well in cryptocurrency markets. Over the last 45 days or so, Bitcoin and the stock market have been down as the world has been watching in anticipation of whether or not Russia was going to invade Ukraine. Well, as of yesterday, that did unfortunately occur. In this video, we're going to be looking at the price action of Bitcoin. We're going to be analyzing why it rallied. A lot of people were expecting, including myself, were expecting that Bitcoin was going to drop much lower, potentially down into the low 30s. Instead, in the last 24 to 48 hours, Bitcoin has actually rallied about $4,000. So we're going to be analyzing why that may have occurred in this video. We're also going to be talking about conflict in Canada and the Ukraine, about how, not conflict in Canada and the Ukraine, but how government overreach in Canada and Ukraine as far as stopping people from being able to withdraw money from their bank accounts or just simply not being able to access bank accounts as a result of conflict drives people towards Bitcoin and cryptocurrency, and how, unfortunately, as terrible as these conflicts are, they may actually be proving why Bitcoin is so necessary in the first place. We're going to be talking about how Putin may be ready to negotiate, as it looks like he is talking with a Chinese foreign minister on that. And then we're also going to discuss how Vitalik Buterin, Russian-born, is actually coming out staunchly against Russia's actions. He says that Ethereum is not political and it cannot make a statement because it is fully decentralized, but he as an individual most certainly can. He slammed Russia and their actions. And we're also going to be talking about talks around Russia being kicked out of SWIFT. Is that going to happen? Is that not going to happen? And we're going to be bringing you up to date on what's going on in the Bitcoin and the cryptocurrency markets, as we always do. But we are always joined by Tim. How are you doing, Tim?
What's up, everybody? I am here. I am ready. You know, heavy day yesterday, but, you know, we will still have a normal show today. We'll keep you posted as the time goes on and what's happening over there. Doesn't change that our hearts are broken. But we're still going to analyze the market. We just wanted to give some respect to the situation yesterday. I'm excited, though, because we do have some good stuff to talk about today. And, you know, hope is coming. You know, hope. Every time there's a dark cloud, there's a silver lining, and hope is on the horizon.
Absolutely, guys. There is hope in this situation. There is hope in every situation for all facets of this situation. And we're going to be talking about a little bit of what that may look like in this show. We're also joined, as always, by Kelly. How are you doing, Kelly?
I'm doing excellent. Got a lot of good rest last night. Woke up early to so I could dive into all the news, figure out what we could and should share with everybody to bring the most value. And we got a lot of stuff going on. Very conflicting data and on-chain data as compared to technical analysis charts. But we've got a lot to dig into today. So let's jump in. I'm just happy to be here, and my love and prayers are with everybody here on stream and everybody watching it from home.
Absolutely. Well, guys, if you're enjoying today's stream and you're looking forward to it, make sure to hit that like button. Make sure to go ahead and hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Let's see if we can get to about 300 likes over the next couple of minutes. The reason that we ask for that is because it helps to promote this video in the YouTube algorithm. That's the way YouTube works. It looks at engagement, such as comments, likes, how many people subscribe, how long you watch the video, and it uses those analytics to promote the video in their algorithm. So when you like the video, it really helps to get our message of financial sovereignty and our understanding of how to build a purpose-driven life that brings fulfillment and joy out to the masses, and we would love to be able to share our message with more people. So hit that like button. I am joined, as always, also by Smay. How are you doing, Smay?
Best for last, guys. Best for last.
Yes, indeed.
I'd like to take this opportunity to say some beautiful names. Nothing comforts me more than being able to read the beautiful green names of our members. I love you guys. You guys are the best. So I'm going to go ahead and start. We got Ricardo Venegas. We got Alexandre Inacio. We got Air Crypto 420. We got Win Peoples, Crypto Alchemist, Crypto Couple, Crypto Set Guy. I'm just noticing a pattern here. A lot of people's names start with crypto. Colin McDonald. Oh, yeah, Crypto Jebb over here. Agent Gold. And then we got Crypto Alchemist again. We got Matt C. We got TZ. We got Grand Roofing Incorporated. Oh, my gosh, so many members today. I love you guys. Jojo, oh my gosh, man. I don't want to miss him out. Lucas Jaloski. We got B8S4. We got Shadrack Frost. Oh, Elliot Luck. Oh, man. So many members in the
all
chat.
The members in the chat.
I love you guys so much. And I just want to say thank you guys so much for supporting us and everything. it makes us so happy.
Yes.
So thank you.
And it was very encouraging to see the messages on yesterday's stream, the comments. There were a lot of people that were commenting saying, hey, look, I have family in Ukraine, or I'm from Ukraine, or this has been really bothering me as well. And I think we were, I think hopefully yesterday's stream was able to comfort some of you guys who may be dealing with that. But let's go ahead and jump on in here to Market Pulse. Take a look at the market. Bitcoin surprisingly is up 10% over the last 24 hours. We're going to be diving into some of our reasons why we believe that that may have occurred. We're also going to be looking at Ethereum, was trading at $2,700 right now, up 12% in the last 24 hours. Binance Coin up 10%, XRP up 10%, Cardano up 13%, sitting at 87 cents. Really interesting to see ADA up 13% and trading at 87 cents. That just goes to show you the correction that it's had. Terra Luna, which is a phenomenal project, sitting up 22%. Ran from Crypto Capital Venture, Crypto Banter actually just talked about on Twitter that he's expecting $100 Luna by the end of March. Might happen. We'll see what happens in the global markets. Solana sitting up 10%, Avalanche up 15%, Dogecoin up 11%. Market-wide, we're seeing double-digit gainers. AMP up 30%, Gala up 25%, sitting at 25 cents. Phantom up 20%, Arweave, all of these projects up 20%. I'm going to go into more detail later as to why I think the market is rallying the way that it is, but briefly, I believe what's going on here is that there's been so much uncertainty and a very, very negative anticipation of what's going to happen with the Russian-Ukrainian conflict, and now that it's actually begun, a lot of that tension has been released, and it's not a good thing that it started. Obviously, we are praying that everybody lays down their arms and there's peace in Europe's east, but at the same time, as far as why has the market rallied, briefly, and we're going to go into this more later, I think people actually, they don't feel as scared about a known threat. Before, it was an unknown threat. We didn't know what was going to happen. We didn't know how this was going to escalate. Now, we still don't know exactly where this is going to go, but it's at least a known threat, and that seems to be, in some strange, twisted way, giving some comfort to investors. They at least know what's going to happen. So that is my kind of 30,000-foot view of what may be going on here. But what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to throw it to Kelly. He's going to take us around the crypto markets, and we're going to look at some different headlines, and then we're going to jump into a community discussion, and then we're going to do some technical analysis on Bitcoin coming up towards the top of the hour. So take it away, Kelly.
Awesome. I'm going to jump right through these because I want to get to the charts since we did not get to them yesterday. We were focusing on more of the personal side of things in this world. So we're just going to go through these very quickly. As you can see here, Trudeau just proved Bitcoin's anti-censorship utility is as valuable and necessary as ever. And this is referring also to I think we shared a tweet last week of a letter that was written basically saying directly back to the whatever the Department of Justice is, Ontario Justice, I'm not sure. We cannot freeze our users' assets. We cannot prevent them from being moved. We do not have knowledge of the existence, nature, value, and locations of our users and assets. This is by design. And this is, along with something we'll go over here in a bit with Ukraine and money flowing into conflicts. And there's a lot that goes, let me take that back. Not money flowing into conflicts, money flowing into people that are being oppressed by whatever government anywhere, or anybody that's in an emergency situation. Bitcoin, in crypto, but specifically Bitcoin is such an excellent option there outside of the traditional fiat. It's sanctionable, censorable sort of means that people have used historically. Next thing, this is huge. So Vladimir Putin, he wasn't speaking with the foreign minister. He's speaking with Xi Jinping, and the foreign minister basically reported that said the Chinese state broadcast had reported that Putin discussed a potential negotiation in a call with Chinese counterpart Xi Jinping. The news could herald a potential de-escalation in the Russia-Ukraine conflict, which has roiled financial markets this month. And this is incredibly important. We're going to have to dig into this, and we have to hopefully sideline our speculation. But all we can do within this is speculate, because any conversations that are coming out of Xi Jinping and China, we have to sort of take with a grain of salt. So we're going to have to wait to see what actions play out here, if this is really going to de-escalate or what's going to happen here. But we also saw a jump in the markets this morning, and that very well could be attributed to this. But we'll dig in that in a few minutes. And this is very important. I wanted to share this because some people are confused as to why this may be important, other than markets going up and down, and of course people losing their lives. But what's the reason here? And I wanted to read this briefly because this sort of encapsulates the whole deal. The thesis basically about what's going on in Russia and Ukraine. The result of Putin's decision is a war that endangers the lives of millions of Ukrainians, risks a major refugee crisis, threatens the global economy, and even raises the specter of nuclear deployment. It will also test old alliances and emerging global rivalries. This is a moment of tectonic shifts, a moment when geopolitics and history are colliding with issues ranging from the future of energy to misinformation, from cybersecurity to the rise of China. So I can't say this is absolutely everything that's involved, but this really hits a lot of the major points of why it's such a critical point in history right now with what's going on, because it's not just about Russia taking over land that once was theirs. There's a lot of things on the line here, from financial markets to cybersecurity, misinformation, as it says here. And then, of course, Ethereum, of course, is the second largest cryptocurrency around and one of the oldest. Vitalik Buterin is actually Russian born. And he slammed Putin online, but he also, this is an important thing right here. Ethereum is neutral, but I am not. And this is incredible because a lot of people were even speculating last night on my Twitter Spaces and even yesterday in chat, about this idea about how Bitcoin and Ethereum is used. Is it a good thing that a nation could be in conflict and money can be used? It's censorship resistance, right? But we're going to have to dig into this and what this means, not only about the freedom of speech, but the freedom of movement and financial sovereignty. And so with that, I'm going to throw it back to you, Jebb and Tim and Smay, because I'm curious what your thoughts are about everything going on right now. Do you feel like this conversation that Putin has speculatively had with Xi Jinping, and how the foreign ministers are commenting on that he has said from his own mouth that he's willing to negotiate on this? Is this posturing, or is this because he can't, there's no open lines of communication really with Biden and the West at this point? Or do you think it's like him tucking his tail between his legs? Or do you think this is all just for show and nothing's going to happen at all, and this is just something that's fodder on the markets?
All right, so tinfoil hat on. Just want to be clear on this. This is speculation, what I'm about to say. The first thing is, I'm pretty much convinced that Putin's been planning this for a decade. The Crimea got invaded in February, I think it was February 2014. It was in 2014. This is not new to them. Ukraine has always been the target of Russian aggression, at least in the last decade. And the other thing to keep in mind is that Russia and China are all but allies. They pretty much were that way during the Cold War. And ever since the collapse of the Soviet Union, when the Soviet Union started falling, the Russian economy started falling. It went into a big recession. The Chinese economy grew, and they kind of switched places, but they're still friends. That's why Xi Jinping, the president, if you will, of China, refuses to fully condemn Russia, because they don't want to they don't want to do that to their ally. What I think is going on here is that Russia knows exactly what they're doing. I don't for a second think that Putin is making some of these decisions on the fly. I think every single movement that's being made right now was choreographed a long time ago, because when you sit there and you plan a conflict like this for months or years, you don't go around and say, oh, well, today I feel like calling up my old buddy Xi Jinping. No. I would not be surprised if China knew that this was coming and that they are working with them. Now, again, that is tinfoil hat. We're so far into, speculation territory. I don't want to say that for certain. What I can say is that China is one of the only nations in the world that has refused to fully condemn Russia, and they do have a history over the last 100 years of being very good friends. So what I think is going on here is that Putin is trying to save face. He just invaded a sovereign nation on European soil for the first time since the Second World War, just absolutely destroyed the continent's long-standing period of peace. Now, there's been other conflicts. There's been conflicts in Serbia and Bosnia and Herzegovina. I can never pronounce that. The point is, there's been conflicts in Europe, but never on this scale in this century and even in the last 70 years. And he realizes that he is going to end up becoming public enemy number one. And the other thing you got to realize about Russia, and especially the Soviets' mission throughout all of the Cold War was not to actually have a war. It was to fight, one, proxy wars, and two, to fight an information war. That's what Kelly talked about, the misinformation war. That's just easier nowadays in the era of social media. But the Soviets were always sending over different spies and diplomats and whatever into the United States to sow division. And what I think Putin might be scared of is that what he just did was so thoroughly condemned by every single Western nation that if he's not careful about how he positions this, he may actually end up uniting all of NATO when there's been a lot of disunity over the last 20 years. He may actually end up bringing everybody together against a common enemy, which is named Vladimir Putin and his Russian Federation. And I don't think he wants that. He wants to sow division in the West so that he can continue to build his own power. If he's not careful about how he plays this, then he will sow that division. So if he's going and having these talks, these negotiations with China, or saying that he's going to have negotiations with China, and that's been leaked, I don't believe that for a second. That was probably part of the plan to start stoking debate and argument in the West to say, oh, well, look, he's trying to negotiate. No, he isn't. He just invaded. And try and sow that disunity in the West so that the West is weaker so that he's able to achieve his ambitions without us being as unified as we currently are. So that's kind of where I think that's going. I think that's what we're seeing here. But Tim, I'd love to hear your take on this. Why is Putin, after saying, one, he's not going to invade dozens of times, come out and invade, and then the day he invades says there is absolutely no political solution to this, and then today it's coming out that he's thinking about negotiations. Is he really that temperamental? Is he changing his mind on the fly, or was this all planned?
It's gonna be a short answer because I don't know.
I don't either.
I think the only thing that knows what's gonna happen is the brain cells between his ears. I don't even think his closest advisors know what's next. Putin is gonna do what Putin does, and I think the only thing that's sure is that nobody else fully knows what he's gonna do. So that's my take. I don't think I'm even gonna try to get into the speculation. Put on a hat or whatever. I don't know, and I don't think anyone does know. I don't think China knows. I think China's just worried about themselves at the moment. Russia, the country doesn't know. His advisors don't know. Only Putin knows. And I'm just praying that overall, and the whole reason we're talking about this is because it comes back to crypto. One of the problems that caused all of this is the decentralization of finance. And I do believe that crypto is a massive tool for good. People can use it for evil, but I believe that crypto's future could potentially help curb the evilness that is currently in the world, like what we're seeing happen right now in Ukraine.
Absolutely. Smay, do you have any final thoughts on that before we move into our first community discussion?
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, just to piggyback off of what Tim was saying, this is why I think exactly why we're going to see Bitcoin do relatively all right in these times is because people are, if you're looking at what's happening in Canada, if you're looking at what's happening now in Eastern Europe, these are just opportunities that people are turning to Bitcoin. We're seeing it, and the fact that there was an article released today that I think there was a Ukrainian crypto exchange that the volume went up 200% as people were buying up a bunch of Bitcoin. That's because, what better way to get your money into your own hands where it can't be cyber attacked, where it can't be, taken from you, it can't be, inflated, like crazy, where it's in the hands of these governments and whatever whims they choose to go with. This is when the financial sovereignty of having a decentralized cryptocurrency is so valuable. And that's why you're seeing this is becoming the resort a lot of people are turning to, which I think is why a lot of people are going to continue to buy Bitcoin. Especially there's been the government recently, the U.S. government released Homeland Security released a statement saying, be prepared for potential, and not that I think this is actually going to happen, but they were just saying, hey, be aware that there could be potential cyber attacks in the banking system here in the U.S. and that they warned about it. And what better way to protect yourself from that than having a decentralized use crypto? So I think this is an opportunity for people to realize the value of crypto. And so I think this just proves what we've been trying to say, us crypto enthusiasts, for years. Absolutely. So I think this is why we're going to see crypto do relatively well here soon.
Absolutely. So, guys, normally we would be going actually, no, I take that back. We are going to go into our community discussion really quickly here. We're going to answer one chat.
Well, and what I'm also going to do is I want to read the names. We didn't go through Super Chats yesterday, and I'm not going to go through them. I'm just going to read the names because I do want to say thank you to everyone who...
We did read them, though, to ourselves.
We read, we read every single one of them. But For by Grace, thank you so much. Ben Ethereum, Crypto Sec Guy, we know him, Jeffrey Fritz, OMAC, Wind Peoples, Profit Bear, I am Constantine. He gave twice, actually. TZ, Ted, love Ted, Eric Essenheimer. Yes, that's good. Brad Geidel and Traveling Jim. Thank you so much, guys, for supporting us. Again, due to the circumstances yesterday, we didn't read through them, but we do love you guys. We saw them. Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
You said you saw a super chat in chat?
No, I was going to say
Okay.
we can just read one if there's one in particular we want to bring up.
I mean, I
don't see
a lot of
anything.
conversation about news and what I'll respond to. I'm gonna respond to something maybe as a whole. Definitely appreciate you guys wanting TA, wanting to do the fundamentals. I was reading. I think shout out to who was it that I was reading this from. I think it was Peter Brandt. Peter Brandt is a very divisive guy. Not divisive. He goes back and forth between loving Bitcoin. And I don't even know if he hates it. He just calls when there's something bearish going to come. But he talked heavily about when you're looking at the charts, there's never a time the chart should be thrown out, and there's never a time the news should be thrown out.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, what you do is you watch the news, you analyze the news, and then you go back to the chart to analyze what did the price move in response to that news. And if it moved in certain ways, it shows you the strength of the market. In other ways, it shows you the weaknesses of the market. So all that being said, we're going to jump into TA. There's one super chat that just came in, so I'll read that one, and then we're going to jump into TA. Dan Misarge. Let's see here. I'm going to read. I'm not going to read this one, actually. I'm going to let that one go.
Yeah, we're going to let that one go.
Yep.
Can I say something real quick?
Go right
by the
ahead.
way, I just want to actually note real quick to finish my point, because I said somebody noted that can't crypto be cyber attacked? Crypto itself cannot, but exchanges can. So that's why I will say this, guys. This is also another point to say when we're talking about crypto. This is a good point to say, hey, maybe invest in getting a cold wallet.
Yes.
Invest in doing crypto the right way and responsibly. You know what I mean? Like, because a part of it is it's like, yeah, the exchanges, if you just leave your crypto on exchange, then, I mean, it's not even, you don't even have to have a big conflict to be at risk. You can get scammed and whatever.
Absolutely.
So invest in a cold wallet. I'm looking to invest in a cold wallet here soon. I know Tim just ordered his cold wallet. We're come on, guys.
Let's go.
Security, privacy. Let's go. That's why we're here. All right. Anyways.
Good deal. Well, guys, we're going to go ahead and jump into some technical analysis here. Let's go ahead and take a look at Bitcoin. As we talked about, Bitcoin had been in a super big downtrend over the last couple of weeks. We rallied all the way to $46,000 on the 10th of February and dropped 25% in the span of 13 days and 8 hours. Ever since then, Bitcoin has gone ahead and rallied 15% in the last day and 8 hours. And like I said, we're going to talk a little bit about why that may have occurred, because it might be surprising to you that during a time of global conflict like this, that we would actually see a rally on Bitcoin, considering much of the correction that we've seen recently seems to be coming from the fact that Russia was seemingly planning an invasion of Ukraine. Well, the interesting thing is here that as Bitcoin broke to the upside, it actually broke several important trend lines. There's one right here that Bitcoin was trading under. We had support here, then resistance in these two areas, and we broke bullish above it right there. And then we also saw that this downtrend that was constituted by our high back over here on the 16th of February and right here on the 23rd of February was broken, and Bitcoin started rallying to the upside. If we look at the hourly chart, we can even see that Bitcoin is forming a bull pennant right here, and that bull pennant, if we just go ahead and extrapolate, has a price target sitting all the way up at $43,000. Now, I'm not convinced that we're going to just rally straight to $43,000. I think it's going to take a little bit longer than that, and we actually have another level of resistance right there. I know this is getting a little bit hairy, so I'll go ahead and get rid of some of these trend lines. This trend line right here is the next one that is going to need to go ahead and break through. If it does reject here and it pulls back down to retest this downtrending level of support, then what you might see happen is you may indeed see Bitcoin actually form an inverse head and shoulders pattern right here. And if we do, that price target would be sitting up here similar to what we saw on the bull flag at about $44,000. That's actually very important because Bitcoin right now really needs to get back up above $40,000 to $42,000 to regain confidence in this uptrend. Now, as Tim was talking about, you don't want to throw out the chart, but you also don't want to throw out the fundamentals. The chart right now is showing, okay, we have a high and that is a higher high. We have a low and then a higher low. That's great. We're technically in an uptrend here, but if you are to zoom out, you will find that we're actually also in a bear flag, as you can see right there. That bear flag would push us all the way back down to basically zero on Bitcoin. So there's a lot of conflicting technical analysis right now, or excuse me, not zero, about $20,000. So there's a lot of conflicting TA right now. I take solace in the fact that there are higher highs and higher lows, but as I've talked about recently, Bitcoin really needs to prove itself to me. I just simply do not trust this uptrend or this market just yet to be rallying. I think what we're seeing right now is something similar to the sideways action that we saw over here in May, June, and July of 2021. I think we are confirming bottoms. I think we are building VPVR support, as we can see here. VPVR support sitting around $30,000 to $40,000 is considerable right now, and it only gets stronger as we continue to trade down here. The concern is at this point in time when we were trading sideways over here, there was not a major, there was not a major conflict in Europe that was causing cryptocurrency markets to drop. And also, Kelly, I don't know if you were planning on showing it later, but there's a tweet that you have in our planning document that I wanted to bring up. I think it's actually not in the planning document anymore. It was comparing, Kelly, if you can bring that up. Actually, Kelly, I'm going to throw that to you. Can you find that tweet that you had in the planning document a little bit ago? It was comparing Bitcoin the last 10 years or so to the traditional markets, because I want to show people how big of an impact traditional markets have on Bitcoin. Because right now, Bitcoin being in a major correction, I don't think really has a whole lot to do with Bitcoin.
Here we go. I got it.
Yeah, go ahead. Throw it to Kelly. I want him to show that.
This is this is from Blake. We actually had him on last night
that
on
was
the
his
Twitter
name.
Spaces.
Yeah.
And this is it's got the Dow Jones Index, S&P 500, and Nasdaq, and it's basically comparing, showing the drops, and also this right here. This is not Bollinger Bands, as you can see, it's below. This is what's called the Gaussian channel. And he, when I spoke to him, he said he has this on the 5-day. And it really helps determine what sort of trend you're in. On the 5-day, we still haven't turned red, but this is like we've had this massive drop, and of course it's bigger. But he's basically positing that if we were to find a bottom on the traditional markets, somewhere in the region that we're at, based on previous bottoms, how the market reacted in correlation. And you can see, yes, the markets are very heavily correlated in direction, but if you look at the percentages and the way in which the market moves within those directions, it's not correlated whatsoever.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think that it's important to realize that even though we believe that Bitcoin maybe should be in a bubble, and maybe it shouldn't be impacted by geopolitics, the simple fact of the matter is that it is. And whenever the stock market is down, whenever there's, oil hitting $100 a barrel, which by the way, that just happened yesterday, and then it dropped down to around 97. Whenever you see massive political events like that happening in the world, they are going to impact Bitcoin and crypto. And, you might wonder, Jebb, why do you talk about Russia? Jebb, why do you talk about the stock market? Jebb, why do you talk about oil? Because I can't just talk about crypto, because crypto does not exist in a vacuum. What happens in Russia has a huge, profound impact on Bitcoin. So if you want to know what's going on in Bitcoin, we have to talk about geopolitics. We have to talk about political events. We have to talk about stock markets. We have to talk sometimes about precious metal markets, those not to the same extent. Sometimes we have to talk about oil. And that's what we're seeing right now. Is I honestly think that the market that we are seeing right now is mostly driven by traditional market FUD, not so much cryptocurrency market FUD. Because as Kelly shows you every single day on this stream, the on-chain metrics for Bitcoin are stronger than ever. The illiquid supply is higher than ever. The supply and demand ratio the supply and demand, setup is better than ever. The amount of dry powder on the side, there's $200 billion sitting in stablecoins waiting to go and purchase Bitcoin. The number of people holding long-term over 155 days hit an all-time high. It's around 82%. It's ridiculous right now. The on-chains are so very beneficial. But for Bitcoin to go back to all-time high, it needs that assistance from the retail sector, and it's just not going to get it in a time like this with all of this uncertainty. So, Tim, let me ask you this. How big of an impact do you think the traditional markets are having on Bitcoin right now, or do you think Bitcoin is struggling to get above $45,000 for a reason that has to do only primarily with crypto?
Part of it is I don't think it's necessarily ready yet. And, I'll go ahead and show my screen. There's a couple things I'm going to go on here and kind of explain to you guys why. There is the bull flag or the bull pennant that Jebb talked about earlier that could potentially send us up. But here's what I'm looking at right now on the 4-hourly chart. You guys are going to see these two lines right here, this blue line right here and this red line right here. These are pretty crucial lines I've talked about now for a while. The blue one definitely is. The red one's a little bit newer, but I'm going to explain why. First of all, the reason we rallied the other day, technical analysis-wise, is we oversold. Look at that high volume that happened right there. Look at the bullish RSI divergence that we set up. So if you guys are wondering what I'm saying, the RSI moved up. However, the price moved down. The volume increased, which was, again, a freak out. The news broke that Russia had officially invaded Ukraine, had actually moved in and fired shots. People freaked out, oversold. It led to a massive buy spot where we saw a spike in the volume. However, the volume has slowed down. A lot of times what happens here, and this is a teaching that you're going to find if you study the Wyckoff method, is that when the volume spikes at a low level and then slows down as it goes up, it's kind of saying it probably needs to go back to that section again. That's not a guarantee, so I want to preface that by saying that alone does not mean that the bottom is not in and we're going to go lower. However, We need to be aware of the volume telling us a lot about what's happening here. And the volume increased because of a freak out and oversold metric. So a lot of people were willing to buy here. But what that tells a lot of the whales and institutions who want to get as much supply as possible is, hey, this is a spot where people are very confident buying. We can bring it back down there again and probably try to shake them out. So that's the first thing. The reason we rallied was from a technical analysis standpoint. We got oversold. We set up bullish RSI divergence, and it looked like a great buy spot for people to go ahead and get back in. Now, here's my concern moving forward. And again, I think that this red line is actually really, really important on the 4-hourly chart. And the reason why is because right here, we started a trend line on the top of our RSI that we have not broken through, right? So at the moment, the price is still technically moving down. We did break the trend line moving down right here. So this is a positive development. However, unless we can close above this red line right there at 40,000, and it's like 40,088, but let's just call it 40,000. If we can't close above it with confidence, we will set up bearish RSI divergence on the 4-hourly chart, which would then back up the thought of, okay, we bought when we were oversold, but there's still a lot of volume and a lot of supply that can be purchased down at that lower levels, which in turn would not be the worst thing in the world because, again, as we talked about in the show several times, that blue line is also where I put our close on the daily chart back on the 23rd of January. If we come back down to the lower 30s, around 34, 33, maybe even as low as 31, and close on the daily chart, we will set up daily bullish RSI divergence. Another great buy spot. It will allow the whales and institutions that want to get as much of this supply as possible, especially in light of what's happening right now in the world economy. It would allow them to get as much as possible before finally Bitcoin ends up rallying. But in my opinion, when I'm looking at the charts and I'm analyzing the news and the fundamentals that are coming in, that's the explanation of things I'm looking for. I'm not saying it's impossible to go ahead and break through this red chart. That would be awesome. I know a lot of people would be happy about it. However, there are a couple signs pointing out. I think also if you go to the 4-hourly chart, the Bollinger Bands kind of point towards this rejection too. You're going to see the top of the Bollinger Bands be right at that red line. There are a lot of signs saying that potentially the price is going to come down again, and that's not a terrible thing.
I think the thing you have to keep in mind right now, guys, is that there's a lot of volatility in the cryptocurrency markets that doesn't have to do with the cryptocurrency markets. It's almost like trying to predict the tides when a tsunami is coming in. Like, that kind of just overrides whatever the tide was supposed to be. Oh, it's supposed to be low tide right now. Yeah, but there's a 100-foot tidal wave coming in. So it's kind of like, you know, you kind of got to start from scratch, to be honest with you. What we're seeing right now in crypto is that there's a lot of movement going on that's coming from the traditional markets. There's a lot of FUD coming from the traditional markets. And the takeaway right here is that, yes, the technicals are very important. Yes, the fundamentals are very important. Yes, we need to analyze this market. But frankly, one of the reasons we haven't done a ton of technical analysis on Bitcoin is because at the moment, it could all be changed tomorrow. Tomorrow we could say, oh, okay, well, Russia decided to lay down its arms and then Bitcoin jumps, or Russia decides to do this and then that happens, or that anything could happen to have a major impact on the market. So the takeaway right now, and I want to throw to Kelly and get his take on this because he's been a professional trader and trading for like 5 years, making a living doing it. Right now feels like a really difficult time to make certain trades. And I'm not talking about making certain trades as in specific trades. I'm talking about making certain trades as in making a trade with any amount of certainty. You can never have certainty, but you want to have as much as you possibly can. At the moment, it's kind of difficult to say, hey, right now is a great time to enter a long because we're in an uptrend. There's a bull flag. We might be forming an inverse head and shoulders pattern. But it's also a hard thing to say, hey, but we're going to go into a downtrend because there's geopolitical FUD and also because we're setting up bearish RSI divergence. Right now feels to me like a no trade zone. Would you agree, Kelly?
Oh, absolutely. I think it's a no trade zone. However, I will say for people that are professional traders and they're doing a lot of intraday trading, there's a lot of attraction to these sorts of markets because there's a lot of volatility that are going back and forth. But I do not recommend it for somebody that's trading, trying to put in a trade in, say it's your 5th trade or your 5th month in crypto or whatever it is. It's a no trade zone because we don't have a clearly defined direction. I'm going to show you really quick a couple things that are conflicting, but also some things to look out for. So looking here on my chart, I have market cipher up, and we see on the weekly, see this money flow. This money flow is coming down, and here it came down as well, but it bounced back up right here. It didn't go below the zero line. However, looking right here, we're coming right at that zone. We do have a red dot because of the massive bearish price action we have, and it's going to take a couple of days for anything to move back here. But coming down on the daily, now we have the VWAP coming up super sharply. RSI is going up in unison. We've got a higher basically trigger wave. These are anchor waves. a trigger wave coming right here. So momentum it's looking like it wants to press up, but being that we're not in a clearly defined trend, you can even see it on the chart. We have all these red resistance zones, large resistance. And if I pull up the Fibonacci retracement tool, this zone here is essentially the 52 area. I've been talking about this for a month or so. Is the golden retrace, the golden pocket between 618 and 6.65, and this is going to be a major barrier for us to break through. And so we're still in this downtrend. We are potentially forming a W here, but this is not confirmed until we even break above this 44 level, have confirmation, and then make headway up to 52. So it's definitely a clear no trade zone, in my opinion, for the majority of traders out there. I also wanted to show, because I show so much on-chain data, but I wanted to show something that people don't maybe not realize when I share these things. This is, and I point out even in my tweet here, this is very bullish in terms of how we're looking at the mirror multiple. These areas down here, while they can't stay down here for a long time, they tend to be good buy zones. We're down here in this area, but if we go to these next few charts, we're also here. This is the entity adjusted dormancy flow. If you go, I'm not going to explain these all, but if you go, I have all the information is below each one here. You can read about them, but we're in a clear buy zone as it pertains to on-chain data. And this is another one. We're having a huge exchange outflows still, even though we're having this crazy testing the lows again, on this basically M pattern, essentially double bottoming on this giant consolidation that we've been having. However, then you go to this last chart I have here, and this line here, this is a 55-week moving average, and then this line here, this is a 200-week moving average, and all three times where the chart was old enough to populate both of these, all three times that this has broken the 55-week moving average, it has come down and touched this and tested the 200. One there, and now we're breaking it. And the interesting thing is we've also gone up and retested it. So in terms of the TA, this isn't on-chain data. This is just through Glassnode, but this is TA because I'm looking at moving averages here. This is incredibly bearish. So when we're looking at all these very bullish metrics that are showing these things, we have to take in the technical analysis into account before we enter trades, because the last thing I wanted to show, even though we have that bearishness, this is the reason why we're so bullish on this channel and so many Bitcoiners are so bullish. This is the accumulation addresses. Look at this is just straight, basically up, other than right here where we had the blow off top in 2017, 2018, we've been up and to the right. And even through this downtrend, just up and to the right. So while there's an incredible amount of bullishness in the underlying fundamentals of Bitcoin and the on-chain metrics, the TA still shows that there still very well could be quite a bit of a room to the downside. We still could test down to the 24K region. We still could test down, I think more likely 29 to 33K region will probably be my idea of where a floor would be, but definitely a no trade zone. Is it a HODL zone? Absolutely. Is it if you're just getting into it today and you're going to be holding for a long time? I mean, I've been DCAing the whole way every time it's showing a good dip. So that's my thoughts.
My final thought on this, and then I want to get Smay's take on the market sentiment before we move on to Ethereum, is, Kelly, you were here for the March drop in 2022, right?
Yes.
Excuse me, I'm sorry, March 2020. March 2022 hadn't come yet. It's going to be a good month.
Yeah,
but
that's what I thought you were asking.
Yeah, no, yeah. March 2020. Everybody thought the world was going to fall apart. Like, there was, you want to talk about panic in the streets. There was some panic in the streets back in March of 2020, and the entire market just fell out from under itself. Bitcoin dropped 50% in a day. So everybody who has been in the cryptocurrency market since then is probably looking at this and saying, oh yeah, I've been here before. Bitcoin dropped to $3,000, excuse me, $3,900 2 years ago. It's currently sitting at 40. So the point here is that Bitcoin has been through this kind of thing before. It has been through traumatic events in global markets, and it's recovered and come out stronger than ever, because whenever something bad happens in the traditional markets, it just goes to show you that the markets, that the markets are very reliant on crypto, and also that the markets of crypto are much more of they are an antidote to a lot of what's going on in the traditional market. So, Smay, I'd love to hear your thoughts on the sentiment in cryptocurrency right now, if you would be so kind.
Yeah, I mean, so I think there's definitely a lot of uncertainty. I think that's very much a given in terms of just where we're at geopolitically, and no one knows what the next week and next month is going to look like. But at the same time, I think it's very bullish to see that in this time of conflict, you saw what happened in 2020 and the way people responded to that. And now the response is, I mean, obviously it's a different event, but the response is very different now. It's very much so people who are intrinsically bullish on Bitcoin, meaning that they like more so than just the idea of making money on Bitcoin, but they actually like the use case of Bitcoin. They're turning and doubling down on Bitcoin. So I think this is I think overall, we just have to get through the uncertainty, and I think just like in 2020, we saw Bitcoin bounce back because people always are going to realize that, hey, actually, Bitcoin kind of doesn't really need to have anything to do with traditional markets at the end of the day. And as as people realize that, then I think the sentiment is just going to get more and more bullish. Yeah. So I'm not worried. I think Bitcoin is going to do handy dandy. I think a lot of people are still pretty bullish on Bitcoin. I think it's more so you're going to see institutions that are going to be holding on to their money a little bit longer because now they even have more reason to be uncertain about what's going to happen. But once the dust clears and we know what the next 6 months are going to look like and going forward, then I think we're going to see some serious bullish action here soon. So
I think so too. As soon as we see the dust settle, as you said, and calm down in traditional markets, I think we will see that, because I think Bitcoin and crypto is primed and ready for a massive rally. It's just being suppressed in the same way XRP's probably supposed to be higher than it is right now. It's being suppressed by fundamentals. Excuse me, not by fundamentals, by FUD coming out of something not to do with the project. But let's go ahead and talk about Ethereum here for a little bit. Haven't looked at Ethereum in a couple of days, and for once, there actually are some things to talk about on Ethereum that are slightly different than Bitcoin. The interesting thing here about ETH is that ETH did have a perfect. I mean, this was beautiful inverse head and shoulders pattern that was supposed to drive it up to $5,000. And then there was war in Europe. So that kind of didn't really go anywhere. Bitcoin and the crypto markets dropped, and Ethereum also dropped all the way down from $3,200 down to a local low of $2,300. It has rallied over the last day and a half, up 20%. And right now, it actually may be forming a nested inverse head and shoulders pattern. We have a left shoulder here, a head right there. We could be forming a right shoulder there. The reason I say it's a nested inverse head and shoulders pattern, some people will call it a double inverse head and shoulders pattern, is that there's also a shoulder here. If we formed another shoulder over there, then we may end up seeing this market go through a double inverse head and shoulders pattern that would have a similar price target. We can just go ahead and delete that one, draw that price target right there. That would theoretically drive us all the way up here to about $4,400. Now, the thing you have to keep in mind is that I love price targets from inverse head and shoulders patterns, from bull flags, from bull pennants, from cup and handle formations, from all of these things. I love price targets. They're great. They're also not always going to come true. And the thing you have to keep in mind is that price targets are supposed to give you an idea of where the market is going to go, not exactly where the market's going to go. And we don't even know if this inverse head and shoulder pattern is going to print. Frankly, if it doesn't, then Ethereum still has other reasons it might rally, but a lot of it has to do with Bitcoin. At the moment, if we take a look at some of its other technicals here out on the daily chart, we're going to see some interesting things. Namely, you can see that the RSI is about to break up here above 45. It's about to break the 14 simple moving average, moving through the daily chart. It also looks like we're about to have a bullish MACD cross coming in on the daily chart as well. And the other thing to keep in mind here is that there was a massive, not really a spinning top, but this is just a very volatile candle. Massive upper wick, massive lower wick yesterday. It actually ended up being a green candlestick yesterday on Ethereum, which is pretty interesting. And this is basically a doji. Large body here, small body there. The candle wicks are a little bit weird. It's not perfect, but it does kind of count. This sometimes can be an early sign of a reversal. We saw something similar happen right here, and we've also seen the things happen at other points in history where we saw, bullish engulfing candlestick formation. So the candlestick analysis actually isn't looking too bad right now. Lux Algo is obviously bearish. It has been for some time. We need to get above $2,800 for Lux Algo to flip bullish. That is going to be difficult. At best, it's going to need to get to $3,000 to have a strong buy signal come in my opinion. All three parts of Lux Algo, buy signal, trend catcher, and Lux Oscillator right here are all red. So Ethereum in a very similar state that Bitcoin is in. Yes, it's rallied 12, 13, 14% over the last 24 hours, but it's also down, even with that rally, 17% over the last 10 days. It's in a macro downtrend. There is an argument to be made that Ethereum here is trying to institute a new uptrend, but another concern I have is that Ethereum is actually in a bear pennant. Right now, we have lower highs going back to early January, higher lows going back to late January. If we just draw a price target here, then just like we saw on Bitcoin, that gives us a very low price target of like $1,600, and that could be pushing us all the way back down to the lows that we experienced in June and July. So I'm not saying that's going to happen. What I am saying is that the technicals and the fundamentals don't have a clear answer right now on Ethereum. That's why I asked Kelly if he thought it was a no trade zone, because I do. I think it's very, very difficult right now to figure out exactly what Ethereum and Bitcoin are going to do right now. What we really need to do in these situations, unless you are a stupidly skilled trader, or if you get lucky, is right now there's a third option. And I want you to know what that third option is. What's the third option? Well, the first option is to long the market. The second option is to short the market. The third option, which is the option that, quite frankly, you should be exercising most of the time, but nobody remembers that there's a third option, is to do nothing. Sit on your hands, wait and watch and learn. And that's what I think we need to be doing right now. Right now is not a time, in my opinion. Now, you do what you want to. You go and make your own trades. I'm not your financial advisor. We're not entering into a financial agreement, a financial services agreement. But right now, in my opinion, this is a sit on your hands, wait, watch, and learn situation, because you're going to gain experience not just by trading, but also by watching the markets. Because the next time we see a global conflict like this, you may be, or not a global conflict, but a localized conflict that has global implications like this, you may be able to look back and say, okay, I remember when Russia and Ukraine went at it, and I don't mean to downplay it by saying went at it. That's a very terrible thing. When that event unfortunately occurred, this is how it impacted the market, and you'll learn. And then 3 years down the road, maybe sadly something might happen. You will be able to think back and say, okay, this is what happened to the markets, and be able to make a trade based off of that. So right now, in my opinion, what we should be doing on Bitcoin and Ethereum, sitting on our hands, waiting, watching, and learning. That is what I believe that we ought to be doing. But guys, we're about to move into some super chats here. We're about to move into some snapshots here on Luna and Gala. But before we do, I'd like to take a second to talk to the community. If we have any super chats, read those and get the chat's take on everything that we just said. Let's do that.
Yeah, we have a couple here. We have one from RC Moore. He just want to say, Flicto from ADAX Launchpad. What are your thoughts? Is that a buy?
I'm not familiar with it. Kelly, are you?
My camera is kind of jacked up right now. Flick2, I haven't looked into it much, but the Launchpad on ADAX is great. They've been doing a lot of stuff. They just updated the whole sex, and they added a staking pool, all kinds of stuff. But I haven't really followed Flick too much.
Yeah, I haven't either.
Elliot Locke. I'm not going to read the first part. Elliot, we love you. But I know you want to defend us, but I want people to know in chat, if you disagree with us, if you don't like us, it is okay. Just stay respectful.
Yeah.
And fortunately, we have a lot of people in chat that might go after you if you do that. So we don't want to defend that and back that up, Elliot. So let's keep respectful. But he finished it by saying, I noticed the RSI in the small time frames is bearish. Will it trend to the higher ones?
Yeah, the thing about the RSI right now is that it's really just following the rest of the markets, guys. The market, the RSI is important. And I'm not saying that we throw the technicals out right now, but there's a reason we've been talking so much about fundamentals lately. It's because there's a balancing act in crypto. You go back and forth between, hey, the technicals are really, really important right now when the news is quiet, but then the news heats up and then the technicals kind of take a little bit of a back seat, and then the technicals take the role of saying, okay, well, if Bitcoin moves in this direction, then this is how it's going to do it. And it loses a little bit of its predictive power whenever there's major news and fundamentals going on. Right now, there's major news and fundamentals going on. So the charts are very important. But you have to understand the role that the charts play in a time like this. The role that the charts play is to tell you, if the fundamentals drive the price in this direction, then this is how the price will go in that direction. That's what the job of the technical analysis is right now. It's to say, okay, the market's about to drop a lot because there's FUD. That's what the fundamentals will basically tell the market. And the market and the technical analysis will say, okay, well, we have this Fibonacci level at 0.768 level. We have this level right here. Then we also have this 20 moving average right here that's going to give us support. And we also have this RSI divergence, which is going to give us a balance and support if we drop down 5-10%. And that's what the technicals do. They come in to articulate how that drop is going to occur if the fundamentals come in and say, hey, we need a drop. So the technicals lose a little bit of their predictive power during a time like this. It's still very important, but their role changes. So with the question of the RSI, right now, I'm looking at the RSI, but I'm not putting a ton of stock in RSI, MACD, all that stuff right now. I need to understand what the fundamentals are going to do a little bit more first, because that's really what's driving price action right now.
Let's see. We have a couple more here. Sean Burns Jones said, "How do people get tricked into using BitConnect?"
Yeah, no, goodness gracious. I remember BitConnect, and funnily enough, I actually had a BitConnect account. I put $100 into it, and I actually managed to get it out. The way BitConnect exit scammed, they didn't actually stop you from taking their money out. They just crashed the price of BitConnect token from $400 to 1 cent in the span of like 2 minutes. It was, golly dang, it was a $2 billion Ponzi scheme. There were a lot of influencers in the space at that time that were promoting it. They were making millions of dollars off of it, literally millions of dollars. Some of them were making $1 million a month off of it. And the sad thing is that just like now, there were a lot of people getting into crypto back in 2017. That's when I got into crypto, was in 2017. There were a lot of people getting into cryptocurrency in 2017, and they looked at two different things. They looked at, cloud mining services, which isn't really a scam. I don't think it's that profitable. And then they look at BitConnect, and they're like, oh, they're basically the same thing, right? No. The trading bots don't work that way. So, it's sad, but Ponzi scheme, people fall for them. It really is just sad. I can't tell you exactly how people got tricked into it, but yeah.
Azam Roslan said, "Sending love from Malaysia."
Aw.
We're sending love back.
Love from Malaysia. Love to Malaysia, my friend.
The Coin Father said, "Thank you for the hard work on keeping us updated in the crypto world."
Absolutely.
We have a donation from Lucas Jaskowski. Just wanted to donate. So Lucas, if you had a message and it just didn't get into the chat, tag me and I'll try to get it. The last one I saw here. This was not a super chat, but it was a message, and I think we responded to it in chat. A couple of people did. But Official Samurai Zach said, "You guys ever think about making a TA for dummies kind of series?"
Well, we got some stuff being worked on behind the scenes, top secret, but we will, I don't know. You might see something this year. We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see. We'll see what happens. Any other super chats?
That's all I see at the moment. I'll make sure I didn't miss
so
any.
Much for those. Thank you so much for those super. That means so much to us that you guys enjoy this show so much that you feel the desire to go and give your hard-earned money to a YouTube channel. So, really, thank you so very much. We're very appreciative of that. Helps keep the lights on around here. There's a lot of lights in here. We're in basically a television studio right now, and, it takes money. So we very much appreciate all of you. That really, really does help us a lot. John Doe said, "Crypto Jebb versus Ramsey in a debate. That would be epic." I would love to debate Dave Ramsey on Bitcoin. I actually agree with him on a lot of things, but I think he and I would have a very interesting conversation about Bitcoin. And we're starting to get some high influence interviews going on. I just interviewed Charles Hoskinson, and I'm not going to tell you who because we're going to make you sit in suspense again. But we got another massive name that we're going to be interviewing relatively soon. We just got it confirmed yesterday. We're working on scheduling it. Not going to tell you who it is, but I will say that it's on the same level, if not even bigger, than some of the interviews we've done recently. So I'd love to have a conversation with Dave Ramsey. I think that would be very interesting. Anyway, what we're going to do now is we're going to go ahead and jump into some analysis on Luna. Been doing a lot of research on Luna lately. TZ actually just helped us prepare. It was TZ, wasn't it, Tim, that just prepared that document for us?
Yeah.
Yeah, TZ just prepared like a 7-page document on all of the history and everything of Luna. So shout out to TZ. He's in chat right now. Thank you very much for that, Ted. I read that last night. Very well written, talking about the history of Luna and the way it all works and everything. Great project, algorithmic stablecoin project. There's a lot of other things that Terra is attempting to do. Not going to get too much into the fundamentals on that right now. We're actually working on a video behind the scenes on the fundamentals of Luna. We want to show you guys why we believe it's such a great project. It's kind of difficult to get your hands on sometimes in the crypto in the West. It's a lot easier to get your hands on it in certain Asian nations. You can get it on, for example, Binance, not necessarily Binance US. I don't think it's listed on Coinbase. It's kind of hard to get a hold of, but it's doing very, very well, and I believe quite firmly in the project. It's currently sitting at $25 billion, and it stands out here in the top 25 because you have to go all the way down to rank number 28 to find any cryptocurrency that's up over the last 7 days, and it's actually up 30% over the last 7 days. If we look at the last 7 days, and rank order them, there's only one project that's up anywhere near this much is Anchor Protocol. It's up 63%. Otherwise, everything is down over the last 7 days. The only things sitting up here are stablecoins and Uniced Leo. Right now, Luna is sitting up 30% in 7 days and up 22% in the last 24 hours. Project is doing very, very, very well. Let's go ahead and take a look at the price action and kind of see what's going on over here. If we take a look at Luna, what we're going to see happen is it's absolutely moonshotting is what it's doing. Very interesting that it's doing this. I'm going to want to ask Kelly here in a second what his opinion is on why Luna is doing this. But if you'll remember, I did some technical analysis on that project, Terra Luna, a couple of days ago. It's up on the channel right now. And I said, hey, Luna's probably going to want to drop down here to $42 and then bounce and rally. Well, it didn't do that. It dropped down to about $47 and it bounced and rallied. And then it broke, currently as of today, it's broken both of the major, all three of the major resistances that I drew back on, I believe it was Monday when I made that video. Talked about this downtrend right here. It broke broke that. I talked about $60 right here. It broke that. I also talked about this downtrend right here on the logarithm chart. As of this moment, as of the last 12 hours, it is rallied very quickly and broken above that as well. So Kelly, do you have any takes on why Luna may have just undergone such a massive rally when the rest of the cryptocurrency market has been much more dormant?
Absolutely, I do. About 3 or 4 days ago, they had this news article came out. They basically, and I highlighted here, Terra Luna Foundation Guard, a nonprofit organization linked to Terra, claims it raised $1 billion in a private token sale. Essentially, what they're trying to do is, because Luna is the backing for their algorithmic stablecoin, the UST. So they're basically using this to bolster their basically Forex for US dollar pairs, as well as other stablecoins. But I mean, yeah, having $1 billion raised on anything would raise whatever color flag you want it to be everywhere, because that definitely will bring eyes to the project, and it shows that there's a lot of development and forward progress going on within their ecosystem, and it bolsters their ability to become that main stablecoin, which I think you've said it before, and I definitely agree. I think in the next 5 years, UST will probably, which is the stablecoin under Luna, will probably become the dominant stablecoin in this space, because it's not tied in with foreign governments, and it's agnostic to all interferers.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's also just a phenomenal project that's up and coming. It's been doing very well over the last year. It's been around for about 3-4 years. You guys got to realize every overnight success story normally has 5 or 10 years of work behind it. Like this channel, for example, grew by 150,000 subscribers last year, but there were 3.5 years of work behind that took us to get to 50. So the same thing is true for a lot of these cryptocurrencies. I think Luna is kind of getting what it is deserved, to be honest with you. It's a very great project, and it's growing a lot for that reason. And when I say it's getting what it deserves, I mean it's getting the gains that it deserves, because it does deserve them. Now, I also want to talk a little bit about Gala here, because Gala is up 20% over the last 24 hours, currently sitting at a quarter. It has a $1.7 billion market capitalization. This is a project I've been watching pretty closely. If you don't know what it is, Gala is the token behind that Gala Games created. And Gala Games is a website for blockchain gaming. It is a blockchain gaming ecosystem. You can see a lot of different things here over on Gala Games. You can go to the games here, The Walking Dead, Empires, Legends Reborn, all these different games that are in beta and in development. There's a lot of games going on here. Over on Echoes of Empire, this is one that if I hadn't quit playing video games, oh man, I would love to play this game. A lot of really cool things going on over here. Blockchain gaming is, in my opinion, going to be to 2023 and 2022 and 2023 what NFTs were to 2021. Blockchain gaming is going to be one of the next major applications, commercially viable applications, I should say, of blockchain technology. Right now, what we're seeing Gala do is print an inverse head and shoulders pattern, and that's very bullish. But what that means is that if we do print that inverse head and shoulders pattern, that is not the project I'm supposed to be looking at. Excuse me, I'm sorry, guys. That is not Gala. Over here, we can see it on Binance. It is printing an inverse head and shoulders pattern right now. Same chart, just over TKD, and that's not what I was looking for. We can see right here that it's printing an inverse head and shoulders pattern, has a flat level of resistance here at a quarter. If Gala does reject and drop down to 20 cents today, that would build out that inverse head and shoulders pattern. But even if it doesn't, it's still a bullish pattern, because there's also bullish RSI divergence here. You can see the RSI divergence right now. There is a downtrend on the 4-hourly chart on the price action, uptrend on the 4-hourly chart RSI, uptrend on the MACD. So we have bullish RSI and MACD divergence. That's very bullish. We can also see, I believe, that there's a confirmed buy signal. By the way, I've not pre-analyzed this. I didn't know that there was a confirmed buy signal here. I just looked at this market so many times that I had a feeling there was one. So if you guys haven't gotten Lux Algo, make sure you get Lux Algo. The link's in the description box down below. You can use 20% off, you can use coupon code Jebb for 20% off. Yes, I know. Thank you very much, McAfee. Let's go ahead and get you out of there. Anyway, if we take a look back here at Luna, I'm so sorry, guys. That's throwing me off. Let me get Luna back up here. Move through all my pages super quickly. What I was saying before I was so rudely interrupted by a security software was that Gala is in the process of printing an inverse head and shoulders pattern, and that it needs to see that this bullish RSI divergence is going to play out. That Lux Algo right there coming in with a buy signal is helping it quite a bit. So let's go ahead and take a look at some of the levels that it might be looking at if it does go into an uptrend. I would first be looking at this level right here. It's a downtrend as formulated by our bottoms here on January the 10th, and also by bottoms here on February the 13th, and resistance here on January 19th. That level is sitting at 27 cents. So if Gala does start to break up to that level, you're going to want to see that break with confidence. You're also going to need to see this trend line right here be broken. That's going to be sitting up around 30 cents. So this zone in here is going to be pretty crucial for Gala to break through. If it's able to do that, then you could see a major rally on it. But the other thing to keep in mind is that Gala, being a blockchain gaming ecosystem, is going to be more in that kind of experimental risk on category in Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. People are going to be much more interested in investing in a project like a Gala or an Axie, or some of these smaller currencies like a Mana, or a Phantom or Sandbox, or Tezos or VeChain. Some of these lower cap projects, they're going to be more interested in investing in them when Bitcoin is looking much more stable. At the moment, Bitcoin is quite unstable, so people are going to be more in a risk-off position, and they're going to be clutching their pearls, or in this case, clutching their Bitcoin and their Ethereum. So it's going to be a little bit hard to find demand for Gala and to find the money flow to go into it. It's doing very well right now, though, so I could be totally wrong on that. Maybe people will see opportunity here. I just do sense a lot of fear in the market. When you see a lot of fear in the market, sometimes it's hard to get people to invest in lower cap altcoins. Now, guys, if you're enjoying today's stream, go ahead and smash that like button. Let me jump over here and see how many likes we have right now. We have 800 likes. We got 2,200 people watching. Thank you guys so very much for tuning in. We're honored and blessed that you would take the time out of your day to watch this show. Hit that like button if you haven't already. Let's see if we can get to 1,000 likes here relatively soon. Let's go. Let's see here. Kelly, I want to ask your opinion on Gala. Why do you think that Gala is rallying so much right now?
I honestly, I don't know if there's a fundamental thing behind it, and I'm not saying there isn't. I'm honestly saying I don't know. I think from a token metrics standpoint in trading, I can't really talk about it. We got a lot of stuff in the works in the background, but as the further you go down the coin market cap of rankings for the rank of how large a project is based on their coin market cap, looking at CoinGecko or coinmarketcap.com, the smaller the project is, the more volatile it is. And especially the main difference between a project like Gala and Bitcoin, for instance, is Bitcoin has its use case, and there will, yes, Lightning is being developed. There's other things that will come along the way that will improve on that, the use cases and utility of Bitcoin and speed and function, etc. But for the most part, its established utility is there and understood, and its market cap is huge. So therefore, it being so large, it takes a lot more energy to move it, and monetary energy, right? So when you have a smaller project like Gala, in addition to not only it being smaller, but it's in an industry that a lot of major institutional analysts are saying is basically the next $1 trillion industry. There's a lot of eyes on that space, and when the top players in that space being, Sandbox, Decentraland, Gala, Axie Infinity. I actually think Gala has sort of left Axie Infinity behind in terms of their development.
Yeah.
But being that it's smaller, people are looking. The prices have been for how far it rallied and where it drew back to. It's an incredible buy. It's become an incredible trade for people that are looking for those good buys on this major dip that we've had, and they know that they can probably gain more. It's a higher risk, but they can gain more out of the movement it's going to see coming out of this dip than they will buying a dip on Bitcoin. But the trade-off is you have the security and the risk off nature of Bitcoin as compared to smaller cap coins.
Absolutely. Well, Tim, we got some time left, and there's another project that's been rallying quite a bit. It's called AMP. I'm going to go ahead and take a look here at AMP, and then I would love if you would do the technical analysis on it. Would you do the honors on my friend?
Yeah, let me get that chart up. And
absolutely.
See what we got. I'm seeing a pattern, because while he's doing this, I'm going through and doing my own technical analysis. There's a pattern developing, and I'll talk about it. I'm going to see if it's on AMP as well, and if it is,
you can show it on Gala if you want. Also,
the real reason Gala is rallying, I forgot to say at Matt C's request, I brought the money tree back, so that's why
that would be why. Kelly, somebody asked if you were growing pot behind you earlier. Is it a money tree? Or?
Some of those leaves are a little.
This is a money tree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some of those leaves are a little suspect, bro.
They're a little suspect, but no, it's a money tree.
Good deal. All right. So what I was going to say here is that AMP is up 23% in the last 24 hours. It's the largest gainer in the last 24 hours, right alongside Gala. And I would love to see Tim do some technical analysis on it.
I want to make sure I'm on the right chart. AMP, the fundamentals on AMP I'm not familiar with completely. How old is AMP?
AMP is, if we go here into its market here, we can see that it goes back to about September of 2020.
All right, so I don't know why. Do you know which chart would be the best to even look at it? There we go. I found a decent one. Here we go. I'm gonna go in Gemini because everything I had, it was like putting it from November. I was like, this is barely anything to even look at. So the reason I want to start out large is, again, I don't do AMP TA that often. One thing I'm noticing, and again, we already broke this a while ago, but the first thing you guys can see as you learn technical analysis, you'll just start having chart vision, as Jebb calls it. We broke recently, and I say recently, I mean back in January, out of a symmetrical triangle pattern, and we've come down. And a lot of that had to do probably with a lot of the pressure that came in January. As of right now, though, let's go to the 4-hourly chart. Let's kind of zoom in and see what we have going on. It's kind of been moving a little sideways up into, I'm sure that's the timeline of when the invasion started right there. You're going to see we kind of almost were like in a semi-trading channel. And this is something that probably is going to continue most likely. We went down due to the news, bounced right back up into it. But I'm going to check my RSI real quick because my suspicion is in fact still there. All right, there's something I'm seeing on almost every single chart that we are looking at, and it is RSI divergence, bearish RSI divergence. And the fact that I see almost every single chart setting it up with almost the identical timeline is a little bit alarming to me, and I'm going to tell you what that is. So I kind of drew that trading channel right there, but I'm going to go ahead and move this line just so I don't have to make a new one. And that is this level right here, around 3.2 cents, 3.3 cents, somewhere in that region. Why is that level so significant? Why am I drawing my line right there? It is because if you look, that was the last major peak we had on the RSI, on the 4-hourly chart. Now, right now, the RSI is sitting right at or slightly above. You guys can see right there. So we could say technically it's a flat line, but it's technically okay, so we could say it's a flat line, but technically it is ascending, whereas the price is clearly descending. And if you go look at any chart, which I'm going to do here in a second, you're going to see the exact same thing. We saw that on Gala. We saw that on Luna. It's a little bit, I don't want to say alarming, but it's something that's telling me, hey, the entire market looks like it potentially is setting up a rejection coming very soon. Now, if we can get the price at above, it doesn't mean at. If we get at this, but our RSI is higher, that's still going to be a weak bearish RSI divergence. But at the moment, if we can get above this, potentially we have a chance to rally against it. And I'll show you guys back on Gala. If I type this in real quick, it's not one that I have saved, but I recently did it. You're seeing the exact same thing. I drew this red line right here. What are we seeing right now? The RSI is clearly going up. Come on now, line, work for me. RSI is going up. The price at the moment is down. These candles haven't closed. It hasn't stopped moving. But if we cannot close above this level, we're setting up bearish RSI divergence. It was the same thing with Luna. If I come over to my Luna chart, same thing on the 4-hourly chart. Although this one was a little bit farther away. So Luna actually is the one. I take that back. Luna is the only one that I've seen that is not doing this, which is another reason when someone asked me earlier, Tim, what projects are you super excited about right now? ADA because of its low prices.
ADA.
But the B one is Luna. I love what I'm seeing on Luna. Luna is actually one of the only ones I'm seeing that is not setting up bearish RSI divergence on the 4-hourly chart. 4-hourly chart, I do think when you're looking, I think at the daily chart would be where I would look at this one. This line I have here is the one I'm concerned about on the daily chart. As you guys can see, that level. But this is the one that's going to take a lot longer to play out. In a longer time frame, it's a rising wedge, which long-term means we're probably going to come down, get up to these levels, and then reject. But look at those levels we get up to before we reject, over $220. That would be phenomenal. And that's not going to happen until, that date right there, that region would be around May. But ADA, Bitcoin, Ethereum, all of them, I'll go back to, let's see, what was, I was looking at AMP at the beginning.
Yes, AMP.
That timeline that we were looking at, that timeline, the flat levels of peaks, come on now, wrong line, is super important to keep your eyes on, guys. It's something we're seeing on all of the charts, and that is they all have levels where we have peaks in the RSI that at the moment we're actually outdoing those peaks on the RSI, but we're not outdoing them in price. This is what we kind of talked about, the oversold thing that happened due to the news. It happened on almost every single coin. The market freaked out. People oversold. We went really low. These are great buy spots to rally back up. But just because we've seen high volume, and I'm going to show it here, I'm sure that the volume's high, even though I haven't looked at it. I'm sure that we had this spike. Yeah, it's not crazy high, but it's high in relative nature to what we had over here. This higher volume is due to, hey, oversold, let's go back up. It doesn't mean the market's ready to explode, go back to all-time highs. It means, hey, a lot of people just bought at a very good level, but potentially we might see those prices come back down. In AMP's case, I don't know necessarily if it has to go all the way down there. I actually would look probably in the region of around 0.25 cents as a good spot. But as we talked about earlier, Kelly mentioned as a trader, we're also talking about that as a trader perspective. Traders need to worry about that. If you are an investor and you love the project of AMP, listen, at the end of the day, I think the future of projects are going up. If you love the fundamentals of AMP, which I have not done crazy research on, but if you love the fundamentals and you're bullish on it, this is a good buy spot for long-term holding.
Absolutely. Well, let's go ahead and read some super chats, and then here at 10:45, we will announce the winner of the HODL Trophy. And it looks like it's going to be Kelly.
Yeah, it's not going to be that close of a race this week.
Can I make just a comment on AMP just for people that are either interested in it or speculating on it or trading? I think AMP, there's two things to really consider. It's an incredible project with a huge contingency. AMP's whole purpose, their whole mission was to collateralize crypto payments on their Flexa network. So basically allow for crypto purchases across vending, whether you're buying, selling on, whether it be online or wherever you're making transactions. Now that's an incredible project if, and kind of only if, they move faster than the layer 2 protocols are able to. Whoever gets the adoption first from, whether it be Amazon or other major credit card processing or payment processing services, whoever secures those sort of relationships first, whether it be Lightning Network, getting integrated everywhere, or AMP, it's kind of a 50-50 bet. So this is one of those projects that if you are trading on or speculating or investing in, I would definitely recommend keep that in consideration when you're adding it to your portfolio and how you want to balance your portfolio, because it's so contingent on what the speed of the adoption of all these other things happen are first.
Yeah, totally. So let's go ahead. I totally agree with you, man. That's the first mover advantage is a big deal right now in crypto. But let's go ahead and take a look at some super chats. And guys, we're close to 1,000 likes. Smash that like button. Thank you so much for tuning in.
Agent Gold, who's been a Jebb Padawan now for 6 months.
Whoa.
Said, Kelly, money doesn't grow on trees. Oh, wait, the trees grow dollars. Never mind, it looks legit.
Yeah, it's not a pot tree, but it is a tree in a pot.
Yeah. Although it's not, it's not blooming today.
It's blooming today. It's got $100 bills on it.
Blooming onions today.
What does it?
Does it really have $100 bills
well,
on it?
okay. One just popped up. That is the fastest growth rate of any plant I've ever seen.
That is the fastest. Yeah, seriously.
We're harvesting. You see what I'm doing, guys? I'm doing what everybody should be doing if you're trading.
Kelly just keeps Benjamins on hand to do that
bit. He just keeps Benjamins on hand, go boom.
I got these from Shannon, actually. No, but I did what every trader should be doing. Investors, not so much now.
Shannon just gave you $100 bills.
You should be always taking profit.
Always taking profit.
Yeah. All right, we'll keep going on. Lucas Jaskowski said, which project is fundamentally better, AVAX or Luna? Any suggestions?
What's fundamentally better, AVAX or Luna? I think they're fundamentally different projects. I think they're both great projects, so I wouldn't say one or the other.
Yeah, that's.
I would, shared sort of space in your portfolio because they're attacking two different things. AVAX is, I think, probably among one of the better layer ones, except it's also competing with Ethereum, ADA, Phantom, Eagle. It has so many competitors that it's kind of dividing its market share. But where Luna has a lot of competitors and stablecoins, but the way Luna burns based on the supply of stablecoin, their UST stablecoin. I don't know. I'd hold both of them. I do hold both of them.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we'll have a couple more here. Latour said, I freaked out and sold at 1 a.m. Eastern time during the invasion. Now I'm sitting here holding my USDC bags. You guys help. I don't know if he's asking that or saying
you guys help. You guys help. Okay, well, here's the best thing I can tell you. Dollar cost average if you don't know what you're doing. Like literally, if you don't have any idea what you're doing in crypto, and I'm not saying you don't, I'm just giving, general ideas. Hashtag not specifically your financial advice. This is broad, general, something that I think is very successful. Just dollar cost average, buy every single week. And if you have money on the side, good, because if the market drops, then you're going to be okay. You need to have 3 portfolios, in my opinion. Trading, you don't need to have 3, but if you're going to do all 3 of these things, you need to have these 3 portfolios. You need to have a trading portfolio, an investment portfolio, and a cash portfolio. Everybody knows about trading and investing. Nobody remembers cash. You got to have cash on the side. Cash is still king. I'm not saying that I love the US dollar. I don't. To be honest with you, if you want to start denominating your cryptocurrency accounts in Bitcoin, then hold a cash portfolio in Bitcoin. That's an option. If you don't care what your crypto is worth in US dollars, then, make it all relative to Bitcoin and hold, a Bitcoin or whatever as your cash balance for making investments in altcoins. But I would say that it's important to have that cash on the side. So I wouldn't say it's a bad thing that you have cash on the side. Hopefully you didn't sell at a massive loss. If you did, then there's an opportunity to potentially go ahead and buy back in so that you're not missing out and you didn't just sell at a 40% loss. I don't know your situation, but yeah, I would just make sure that you don't think having cash on the side is a bad thing, because it's not.
Yeah, I want to make sure. Siobhan Gooley donated, but I don't see any.
There's no chat. I saw it in chat.
Yeah. So, Siobhan, if you, I said goalie, didn't I? Gole. Siobhan Gole.
Sauvon Gollet.
Let me know if you meant to put something there. We did just have one come in from Joshua Finesse.
Joshua Finesse.
What? Finesse. Yeah, okay. Guys, can you check out Strikeout? Token station. I don't know, of stocks.
Probably tokenization.
I think it meant sensation.
Tokenization.
Pending FCA
tokenization
approval.
Stocks,
huge UK partnership. TBC.
So I'm not familiar with the project. The one thing I will say about tokenization of stocks is that what you're basically doing is you're creating a derivative of a security, and then you're going to have the SEC go after you for that. So you got to be careful about derivatives of stocks. I don't know a whole lot about that game, but if you're going to invest in a project that's doing that, you need to make sure that project knows really, really well what they're doing in regulatory compliance, because you could be investing in something that's going to get shut down by the SEC in the United States.
Yeah.
Just make sure that you're hodling good projects. Guys, let's go ahead and type hashtag hodl in the chat, because Kelly's right. I have hashtag hodl for all this.
It's not that we need to have any kind
It
of
is
countdown
time.
for this price.
Yes.
Is it price prediction time?
It is
I'm going to
price
go
prediction.
ahead and put us all four on screen at the same time. How about
Whoa! Brady Bunch.
that? Whoa. Brady Bunch time.
I don't know where I am.
Hi, everybody.
in the thing. Yeah,
Where
where
am I?
Hi, everybody. How you guys doing?
Hi.
All right, I'm going to look at Kelly. Hi, Kelly.
Hi, Kelly.
I don't
You have
see
to
it
look
yet.
out of the way.
Where do I look?
You look down to your
Yeah, you
left
guys
and
actually,
the
just
the
look at
left.
each other.
Well,
For you
I
two.
can look at
Yeah, look at that.
Hey.
Tim,
Hi,
what's
Tim.
up, Tim?
What's
Yeah,
up,
what's
Tim?
up, dude?
Brady Bunch.
Yeah.
How's the Brady Bunch theme go?
Hi, Jebb.
Hey, Tim, can you
Smay.
can you hand me that HODL trophy?
Where is the HODL? I don't even think it's in the room.
I don't think
Where's
you
the
guys can
HODL
handle.
trophy?
It's
I got
Disappeared.
it's
You
not
know
in
what?
the room. Oh, I'll
For
get
me-
it.
It's legitimately not.
I'll get it since I'm gonna leave you guys all four.
Wait,
on
hold
screen.
on, wait.
You're gonna leave the studio?
Yes, I'm gonna leave the studio.
What?
Do you have a HODL
You're the
lion?
producer.
I have you guys all four on screen. You're good. I'll be right
Okay.
back.
We've been left by our producer. Our producer is MIA. What the
This
heck?
is the first I
Well,
think
Tim,
we've seen on the show.
Tim, why
where
don't you
someone
go
left
over
the room.
what the numbers were for everybody?
Yeah, I was
And then,
pulling up. I was about to pull up the numbers just so everyone knew, even though it wasn't
He's
close
gone.
at all. The
Where'd he
reason
go?
Kelly won is because he had the highest prediction of 35,500. I had 35,200. Again, never got even close to me.
Yep.
35. Why did I say 3,500? 35,200. Jebb said 35,000 even. And Smay does not get $100 from Jebb because despite the fact that there was an invasion, so I think that was what they decided was part of the,
I did. Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, it never made it 2,900 or 29,000. So
Hey,
What was my
Smay, can you
prediction
hand me
again?
the
35,000.
can you hand me the HODL
35,000.
trophy?
I don't know. Here, try to grab it.
Oh, this is it turned into a HODL lion. No, this is for all the.
I can't see this. I'm waiting for the recovery.
oh my gosh.
Oh
That's
yeah,
so
baby.
funny.
HODL lion. It got transported through space and time and turned
Got
into a lion.
transported
Yeah.
through space and time. Dude, forget airplanes. We got teleportation right here.
All right, who's in the lead right? Oh, who won? It's
Kelly did.
We just
Oh.
said it.
We just said it. That's why
I did walk out of the room. I
Smay.
did walk out of the room. I'm gonna be honest with
yeah,
you guys.
Kelly won.
Good job, Kelly.
Oh
I'll
my
leave him
gosh.
here with the money.
I'll,
for you.
HODL lion.
I'll hold the actual HODL trophy
He's
in
the
your
HODL
honor.
lion?
I'll hold it in your honor.
That's hilarious. Well, guys, if you enjoyed today's show, hit that like button. Make sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And make sure to follow us on all of our social media at CryptoJebb over on Instagram and Twitter, and at CryptoJebbOfficial on TikTok. We're posting daily on all of those platforms, and we would love to keep you guys updated in every single platform that you use. Make sure especially to follow us on our Twitter. Just past 60,000 followers on Twitter. Very appreciative of all of the continued support that you guys have shown the channel. Thank you so very much for tuning in today. And make sure to check out iTrust Capital. This show is actually brought to you by them. If you want to invest in Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies with your retirement accounts, iTrust Capital is the #1 leader in the industry for where you can do that. Make sure you check that link out down below. Make sure you sign up for Lux Algo down below as well. Phenomenal technical indicator. We're very big fans of it. Before we go, though, guys, I do just first want to thank each and every single last one of you for watching, as always, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.